Bum, bum. Hell yeah, dude. Hey,
Yo,
welcome back,
yo.
everybody. Welcome to another edition of Cave Sports. I am Phil the Burn here with Francis, here to give you a
Yo, yo.
quick little episode here. We're gonna keep it pretty simple tonight, but wanted to just come in and check up with all y'all and talk a little sports. Francis, how you doing tonight, dude?
I'm doing amazing, man. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. Doing good. We
Awesome.
got school starting, so kids are in school, and
That means one thing.
what was that?
Football's upon us.
That's right. Get into autumn, dude. Love it. Yep, college football this weekend, pro football right on the corner.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful time. Beautiful time. Hey, but before we really get into it, though, I just want to remind everybody, check out our website, cave.com. That's k4v3.com. And we also have a sports page on there. So go ahead and head to the website, k4v3.com/sports. That's 5P0RT5. So, yeah, dude, let's get right into it. What's going on in the world of basketball, huh?
Yeah, man. Before football season starts, it's a time this year is when FIBA World Basketball is starting to come around, starting to get a little exciting, seeing the young talent around the world and seeing who is representing each country. It's going to start this weekend, and the hosting countries are the Philippines, you already know, Japan, and Indonesia. And I'm happy to say that USA is playing all their games in the Philippines, so that should be very good for the sport and making all the Filipino basketball fans super happy to watch. So, yeah, let's get into it. We're going to talk about a few of the rosters of certain teams that I like, that I think will make a huge impact and will give USA a run for its money. Obviously, USA is the favorite, but they don't bring the big guns for FIBA. So they had some really good players, but you're not going to see like any top 10 players right now. Some top 20, some top 30 players. So let's get into it. We're going to start off with Canada. Canada is, in my opinion, after USA, the most stacked team, loaded with NBA talent. You got Jamal Murray coming off of NBA championship, feeling himself. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just was named to first team All-NBA. And you got dogs like Dylan Brooks, Lugan Dortz, RJ Barrett, Kelly Olynyk, super good big man that can shoot the tray. And then a couple young talented guys like O'Shea Brissett and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Yeah, very guard heavy. I feel like that's the trend now, is having like 2 or 3 solid bigs, but surrounding those bigs with super good athletic guards that are two-way players. Especially with international basketball, with the rules, you can play a little bit more physical. You can pack the paint a little bit more. But yeah, I feel like this Canada roster is going to give USA the run for its money. I feel like if the cards fall into place, this Canada versus USA will be the gold medal matchup. What do you think, Zach? By taking a quick look at the roster, what do you think about it?
That is a pretty impressive roster. A name that sticks out to me on here, I would say, is RJ Barrett.
Mm-hmm.
I'm personally a fan of RJ Barrett's. Us being Laker fans, we have the stigma of us being biased, but I feel like us knowledgeable fans have a good sense of basketball, and I don't know. I've seen RJ Barrett, or not like following too closely, but whenever I'm watching him ball, whenever I see highlights, I feel like there's a lot of potential in there. I feel like he could be a player that really shows out for this Team Canada roster for sure.
Yeah, man, he's definitely grown as a player. Did he go to Duke or was he a Kentucky guy? I forget. He's one of those schools, but I remember seeing him in college.
Let's say Duke.
Yeah, right. I think he played on the same team as Zion. I think they're the same year.
I think so too. That sounds right.
Yeah, but yeah, RJ Barrett. Fun fact about RJ Barrett: he I don't know how he knows Steve Nash, but he's like a god. Like Steve Nash is his godfather or something. Like I think RJ Barrett's dad played hoops too. You can fact check me. I'm not 100% sure, but I know Steve Nash has trained RJ Barrett since he was like a kid. So that's kind of you see the professionalism in RJ Barrett and the skill factor. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then okay, to me, it's Jamal. To me, aside from RJ Barrett, is like Jamal Murray and Shea.
Yeah.
Dog, those are some. I mean, hoopers. Like Jamal Murray coming off a chip. Like he's probably got a lot of swag right now. He's just gonna go in there and just hoop.
Exactly. Yeah. He can have himself a pretty big tournament, just carrying over that momentum from his dominating finals that he had. Also, Dylan Brooks is on here too. I'm kind of interested to see him. Play on this team. I'm going to be very interested with him. He's a pretty polarizing name these days.
He made a name for himself. Maybe not in the best way, but shit, people know about him.
Yeah, exactly. That like all press is good press. I think that's how the saying goes. So he's definitely polarizing. So I think it's going to be fun to watch this team ball for sure in FIBA.
Hell yeah. All right, well, the next squad I want to bring up is Australia. They got some NBA talent in there, too. They got Joe Ingles, Matthew Dellavedova, and then Thon Maker, Patty Mills. So Matisse Thybulle, they also have Josh Giddey, super good player. I really like Josh Giddey's game. Makes everything look easy. I mean, when you look at this, it's not like big names, but when you combine them together, like you have to think like these guys have international. They've been playing with each other on these international teams since they were kids. Like they're under 18 FIBA, so they grow in the same farm and they built the chemistry. That's the thing that scares me with USA, because although I know some of them have played together, they kind of just throw players, not really throw them together, but it's not as developed as it was versus like Canada or Australia or like Argentina. So that's the thing. I mean, yeah, when you look at this team, like, okay, Dante Exum played in the league for like maybe 4 years, 5 years out. Matisse Thybulle, he's known as just like a straight up 3-and-D guy. Maybe not even 3. Like he just straight up is a defensive player. But Patty Mills is like knockdown shooter. So if you combine all these factors along with chemistry, and if the right team gets hot, I think Australia is one of them teams that you can't just look over. They're not gonna be a pushover. They're gonna fight. They're gonna be gritty. They're gonna play D, and they're gonna hit some tough shots. So, yeah. Any names that stand out to you from this roster?
Matthew Dellavedova. I've always liked his style of play. Yeah, definitely for sure. He's a high energy guy. I just look at this roster and I just feel like this is going to be a very fundamentally sound team.
Exactly. Yeah,
they're not exploding with athleticism, but they're probably going to be able to kill you with the passing and the gritty defense for sure. Definitely, like you said, not a team to overlook. They do have some guys on here. They got some dogs. That can really grind it out. So this should be a fun team to watch too.
Oh yeah, to me, my X factor in this team is Joe Ingles. I love Joe Ingles. He's just he's not.
If he gets hot, dude.
Yeah, if he gets hot, and when he's talking shit, and if he gets in your head the right way, then it could be a bad night for you. So yeah, man.
I do want to ask you, how many of these guys do you think actually have an Australian accent?
Definitely Joe Ingles. I've heard Joe Ingles talk. He definitely has a thick Australian accent.
Yeah.
And then pretty much anyone else that I don't know who they are. I think they are. Like Mr. Doo-Wop Reith, I have Jack White. I don't know those guys. They probably have a thick Australian accent.
I only ask that because, with these world games that we have, they have some pretty not like necessarily loose restrictions on or qualifications of how you can qualify to be for a certain team. Like when the World Baseball Classic, was going down, like Freddie Freeman was on Team Canada. And I think it's because I don't think he was born there, but I think like one of his parents was born there or something, or like was born there, but like didn't grow up there. Just kind of like the birth
Yeah,
certificate was like Canadian.
there's definitely ways to get a nationality or citizenship in order to play for these teams, especially if your parents were born of that country. I mean, we'll touch on Philippines later, but there's a couple of players on there that definitely not born in the U.S., but one of their parents was in the Philippines. So yeah, yeah, you're right. It's not necessarily loose, but if they want you to play and they find a reason that you can make the team, then they're gonna put you on for sure.
Yeah, which ultimately I think it helps with like the competitiveness.
Oh, definitely.
Like when you have players that can play for different teams, because I don't know, we'll be looking at the USA roster later, but I don't know how many of these guys would qualify for would be able to have made that US team,
Yeah.
Even if they wanted to.
Exactly.
So this actually does open it up for a little bit of competitiveness around all the nations, which is cool.
Oh, yeah, definitely, for sure. All right, next team we want to bring up is Slovenia. I don't really know too many players on this team, but when you got Luka Doncic, you can't count them out either. Especially this is his realm, the international style of play. I mean, he said it himself. It's easier to score than in the NBA. So if he's doing what he does in the NBA, and he thinks it's easier to score, now you're in the international circuit, and yeah, he's gonna get less foul calls, but he has such a big body and knows how to use his pace with that body. He's just gonna get to the bucket or get any shot that he wants. And you also got some vets like Goran Dragic and his brother Zoran Dragic. Can't count these guys out. They're gonna make some threes, move the ball, and like you touched on earlier with Australia, a lot of these teams are very fundamentally sound. They're not gonna jump out the building and throw lobs and make crazy like no look passes, but they're gonna set screens. They're gonna move the ball. There's gonna be a lot of different sets for different coverages, and it's gonna be interesting to watch. I'm excited for Luka Doncic to play the USA eventually. I don't know I forget what the grouping is like.
Yeah,
but I hope eventually they meet in the tournament round or the single elimination round eventually.
Slovenia. It looks like they're in Group F.
Okay.
But we'll see what happens. Obviously, Luka, biggest name on this roster for sure. But yeah, the European style of basketball, for me, has always been fun to watch. I don't know what it is, but I just have this thing for basketball. Like I always like to develop down low. Like I want to see, the big men can go to work. I like the pick and rolls for sure. But just like that fundamentally sound basketball. And I think Slovenia definitely is going to have something to prove because they're probably hearing it too that this is Luka's team and he's going to be the only weapon on this team. And so you'll probably see, the Dragic brothers step up and help try and spread the wealth around because I'm sure there's going to be some talent that comes out of this team.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure these guys are playing in EuroLeague or Spanish League, which is like the second best league in the world after NBA. So
yeah, they got plenty of bulletin board material to go off of. So this could be a sneaky team here.
Yeah, definitely. All right, next team, Philippines, I believe. Or actually, no, we'll touch on Serbia real quick. You got the current Finals MVP, reigning champ. I don't really know who else is on the roster, but I don't think you need to know who else is on the roster with this guy in the team. Yeah, we got Joker. I mean, like I touched on with Slovenia, their team is going to be fundamentally sound. They have chemistry. These guys grew up together hooping, playing in international tournaments since they were young. So there's chemistry developed already there. It's going to be exciting to watch, especially European style basketball. This is where Jokic can thrive. He's going to bang down low, move the rock. Yeah. He's gonna get whatever he wants. Honestly, he's too talented, and I'm not sure if USA runs into this team. I'm not sure what their answer is because, when we go through USA's roster later, you'll notice that their front court is not as stacked versus their backcourt. Talented, like good players, but young and not as experienced. And when you're running into guys like Jokic, Joker, then it's going to cause some problems.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Probably another team too that has a lot of bulletin board material as well. They also have Bogdan is on this team as well.
Yeah, that's right.
So, those two I think can make a run together. I just look at the groupings. It looks like they're grouped in with South Sudan, China, and Puerto Rico.
Okay.
So
they're going to be
they're probably the favorite.
Yeah, they're going to win a group play easily.
Yeah, they should win that group. And just to go back, Canada is grouped with Latvia, Lebanon, and France, which is probably going to be a pretty good group.
Yeah, France is pretty nice too.
Yeah, Australia is in with Germany, Finland, and Japan.
That's a stacked group.
That's probably Australia and Germany's to lose in there.
Mm-hmm. Germany, I mean, I don't know their roster, but I know they gave USA a run for their money a couple of days ago during an exhibition. USA ended up winning, but they were down. So they had to make a comeback run led by Ant-Man. So, yeah, they got Schroeder over there. They got Franz Wagner, some NBA talent up in Germany. So, yeah, man. All right, let's move on to the next squad. The Philippines. I don't know. I just wanted to throw them up there because they're a hosting country. They got an automatic bid since they're one of the hosting countries. You don't normally see the Philippines in the World Cup because, FIBA Asia, there's still China over there. So
yeah,
it's nice to see. I think Philippines is going to be in the Olympics. I think they were in the Olympics the last Olympics in 2020. So they're starting to make some noise. They have some talented guys like Jordan Clarkson. His mom's Filipino. He was able to get some citizenship. There's a guy I like too. His name is Bobby Ray Parks Jr. Solid guard. And then you got the Filipino hope Kai Soto. He's like, I don't know how this fool became like 7'2", but he's a 7'2" Filipino guy. Plays in Australia. I'm not sure now. I think he played in Australia last year, but he entered the draft. Unfortunately, did not make it, but good young talent. He's just a little weak right now. You just got to build some muscle, but the skill is there. The shooting, the dribbling, the playmaking is there. So I'm hoping they make some noise, just not only as a Filipino, but also that they're a hosting country. It'd be great to see them win a game or two in their group and hopefully make it to the elimination round where they have a chance to. They might get matched up with like a team like France or Germany or Italy or some powerhouse international team, but it'd be nice to see them get into that process and see how they match up with some of these teams. I mean, like the other team, the European teams, these guys have been playing with each other for years, growing up in the Philippines and just coming up in the college system and the PBA system over there, Professional Philippine Basketball Association. So it's going to be exciting to watch. I know Jordan Clarkson's the biggest name on this team, but he looks like he knows what he's going into, and he's proud to wear that Pilipinas jersey around his chest. So I'm hoping they ball out and play like dogs.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Them having the home court advantage could be a huge asset for them.
Oh, yes.
Speaking of Italy, Italy's in their group, in Group A, with Angola and the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
So, I think they might have a shot to get out of that.
Yeah.
Italy's probably their toughest test. We don't have the rosters for the other two teams, but I feel like the Philippines team is going to be supported heavily by the cavemen.
Exactly.
I don't know. I just have a feeling.
Oh yeah, we're hoping we're just hoping they do some work, but like we said, it's a international play, big names. Italy, I'm sure there's big names over there in Italy. So if they can get out of group play like in second, I'm not sure if they can beat Italy, but if they can be 2-1 and beat Dominican Republic and who's the other team? Angola,
yeah.
Okay, yeah, they have a shot.
So if they do this like the World Cup, they'll probably if they end up as the number 2, they'll probably play Serbia in the knockout round.
Oh shit, that's gonna
Um,
be tough.
so they're probably their best bet is to try and win Group A,
Yeah.
because then they'll either face South Sudan, China, or Puerto Rico.
Okay. All right.
So,
Cool.
or maybe one of those three stun Serbia, and then
Yeah.
maybe we get China,
Yeah.
Philippines second round. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll
We'll
see.
see. We'll see.
Should be
All right.
fun.
Last but not least, Team USA,
That's
all the
right.
way. Got Paulo. Like I said earlier, they got some nice young talent. No
Mm-hmm.
one, not like anyone top 10, like LeBron or AD or Steph Curry, but I mean, Paolo Banchero, super good young guy. I think he won Rookie of the Year last
Yeah.
year. He's super talented.
He definitely went to Duke.
Yeah, he definitely went to do it. Same with Brandon Ingram. He's nice. I like him. Two-way wing player, 6'9", can hit the J. And my favorite is Anthony Edwards. That guy's a fucking baller. He reminds me a lot of like D Wade, but with a better jump shot from when D Wade first came into the league. He dropped like 34 points to lead the comeback the other night against Germany for that one of their tune-up games. But yeah, you got young talent like Cam Johnson, Josh Hart, Austin Reeves, Bobby Portis. Like nothing, like these guys are good for their NBA teams, but how will they hold up against the names of like Jokic, Luka, even Spain? I didn't put the Spain roster on there, but there's definitely Spain's roster is nice as well. So, like I said earlier, their backcourt play is phenomenal. I just question their front court, like Bobby Portis and Walker Kessler, and Jaren Jackson Jr. is defending reigning defensive player of the year, but he's still very undersized versus some of these bigger, bulkier European dudes. Like, I mean, Jokic is like the highest model of it, but there's going to be other guys there that not as skilled as Jokic, but definitely same size, like 7 feet tall, like 290 pounds, just can walk you down. So, and then with FIBA, there's no defensive 3 seconds. So if you play zone, you can really pack the paint. So this USA roster really has to knock down their threes or get creative in the mid range to knock it out, because that driving the paint's not always going to be there, and they don't call fouls like they do in the NBA and international play. So they got to learn how to work through some physical play. But I think they still pull it off. I mean, this team, like top to bottom, is the most talented. Like with other teams I've mentioned earlier in this segment, besides Canada, like pretty much there's like Canada has like 5-6 guys, and then the rest not really NBA talent. Australia, there's like 4 or 5 guys, not really, and then everyone else not NBA talent.
Yeah.
USA roster is just all NBA talent, but they're young. They're not as experienced as some of these international teams. So I hope they pull it off. Of course, we're rooting for Team USA here, but I have my doubts. I'm not going to be super confident. But yeah, what do you think? What do you think, Zach, looking at this roster?
I mean, you made a good point about with the defensive 3 seconds. There's it's not a rule. I don't get the sense that there's a lot of players on here that are like they're drivers. Like they're not gonna that's not their game. I do sense a lot of pretty good mid range pull up jumpers from a lot of this team, which is good because that's going to counter that. Obviously, the 3 names that stick out to me: Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, Austin Reeves. Those are the Lakers. That's right. Real talk though, Austin Reeves has been balling. He's been a highlight, I think, for this team so far in this tournament. Picking up where he left off in the playoffs. BI, he's evolving, which is good to see. Obviously we're partial being Laker fans.
Yes.
But I do like seeing him develop. I think he's taking on a leadership role in this team too. Yeah. Which is crazy to think about, because is he even 25 yet?
I think now he's 25.
Is he? Like, that's so crazy to think about.
He came the year after Kobe retired, so like his rookie year was like the 2016-2017 season.
And he was 19, right?
Yeah, he was a one and done out of Duke.
Yeah.
He's pretty much 25 now. He's in the mid-20s now.
Yeah, and he's Yeah, he's up here with I think Josh Hart is a good piece to this team too, being a
Yeah.
vocal leader. But like you said, Anthony Edwards. Um, have you ever seen that movie Hustle?
Yeah, he was great in that movie
In
with Adam Sandler and one of the
yeah.
Herman Gomez brothers, something.
Um, fun fact, or not fun fact, but a little anecdote here. The wife and I just watched that last week or the week before. I was like,
Mhm.
okay, this is pretty cool. There's a lot of stars on here.
Yeah,
But he was an asshole in that movie.
yeah, he was.
Which is cool to see.
There's a bunch of memes coming out now of together people start balling out for USA. There's
Yeah.
that scene where he's like talking to the main character in that movie is like one of the Herman Gomez brothers. He's on Team Spain, so there's like some memes of him talking in his ear, and it's pretty funny, like because it's relevant now. Now that there's international play.
Yeah. No, like that scene in that movie where he got the dude's daughter to wave at him. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
he started talking shit about it. Damn. All right, Anthony.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm excited to see this team. Obviously, it doesn't have the star power that we're used to there that we grew up with, but
Mhm.
that's not to say that there's nothing here. There's definitely something here.
Mhm.
Compared to those teams that we just saw, top to
Mhm.
bottom, definitely the most talented. But I don't think it's necessarily top heavy, which could be a good thing,
Yeah,
honestly.
it's evenly spread out. That's what I like. Like
Yeah,
no one's that much better than the person next to them. It's like
for sure.
really really nice.
I think it's going to be advantageous, whereas with other teams it drops off pretty
Hmm.
steeply.
Hmm.
So
Exactly.
USA's group is Jordan, Greece, and New Zealand. I know we were planning on talking about Greece
Yeah.
because we thought Greek Freak was going to be on that team, but
Mhm. He dropped
USA.
out.
I don't think it's safe to say. I mean, I don't think it's bad to say that if they don't win this group, it's a failure. Like
Yeah.
USA should win that group.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with without Greek Freak, there's no way, in my opinion, that USA should be losing to any of these teams in that group. So but as long as they play hard, the way they've been playing great lately. I was able to watch some of their tune-up games, catch a
Mm-hmm.
couple highlights here and there. So they look good. I mean, they have some good chemistry built up. Um, I think now that the USA basketball program is starting to, although this team was formed, uh, quote unquote last minute, not really last minute, but they've been having training camps and practices and little tune-up games. So they're building chemistry, and I think they're hitting their stride at the right time, right before tournament play this weekend. So yeah, should be really fun to watch. Not sure how to watch it. I think you can stream it on their website, the FIBA website, and you have to pay a small fee. Um, but
Yeah, that's what it
yeah,
looks like. I was just trying to find that as
yeah,
well. First game looks like it's going to be Angola, Italy, um, at 1 a.m. Actually, first two games: Angola
wow,
versus Italy at 1 a.m. on Friday. Finland, Australia also at 1 a.m.
wow, okay,
on Friday. Philippines has the Dominican Republic at 5 a.m.
oh wow,
This is
on
all
Friday,
Pacific time. 5 a.m. Pacific time
okay,
Friday morning.
okay,
Yep.
cool.
So, one game I want to spotlight that just stood out to me: Canada versus France.
Ooh, I like that.
6:30 a.m. on Friday.
Wow, okay, that's
So
gonna be a good matchup.
that's gonna be a
Yeah,
pretty good matchup.
France, they got Gobert, they got I think Nick Batum still on there, so yeah, should be pretty fun.
Round it all out, USA has their first game against New Zealand, 5:40 a.m. Saturday.
Saturday. Damn, that's fucking early.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hopefully,
Hey,
there's a reason for it.
we're in autumn now, or we're getting close to autumn now, so we're gonna be
Yeah,
up,
a little bit
anyway on the
earlier now.
weekends,
Yeah, you're right.
being able
You're
to
right.
watch our football, right? So
Exactly.
speaking of that, let's just transition right into football.
Let's get to it.
Um, anything stood out to you so far? When it comes to the NFL?
I mean, right now, now is a time where we're starting to do fantasy drafts. So I'm starting to dig a little bit more. Me, I'm a betting man myself, Zach. So I'm starting to look at some possible future prop bets. I really like to do the regular season wins over and under.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple teams that I like Jaguars and the Giants. I know. Is there anyone that you like specifically that based on the line?
So betting and me, not really friends.
Mhm.
However, looking over this,
Mhm.
first thing that popped out to me, Steelers. They seem to have that 8.5 over under, which is pretty apropos. We've been hearing a lot of talk lately of Mike Tomlin, and since he's been the head coach of the Steelers, which is the only head coach job he's had, he's never had a losing season. So that over under is pretty much you're betting on whether or not you think the Steelers are gonna, or Mike Tomlin's gonna have a losing season. So he's come close the last 2 years, I believe. There were some games. Oh shoot, was that last year or year before where they played the Lions, and it was late in the season, and they ended up tying in that game. So I think the final record that they had in that year was 8-1. So it had to have been last year, I think.
Yeah.
That right there, like, hey, you finished 500, now losing season.
They play in a tough division, though, right? They got the Bengals, they got the Ravens, and then who else? There's one more team. Browns, okay.
And you got the Browns with a suspension-free Deshaun Watson. That division is always, tough. Growing up, we actually started growing up, I think, in a really, really solid age of football. Like the parity that we had, the Patriots won a lot, but if you really go back and look at like how those division games have been, like historically, the AFC North is just a dogfight.
Yes,
every year, no matter how good or bad some of these teams are. Steelers, ran the show for quite some time. Seems like it. The Ravens poked their head in for a little bit. Bengals seem to be the best team in that division now. Steelers are going to have their hands full in the division this year, more so probably than any year that they've had in the past. I would say there might be a couple of years here and there where the Browns like surprise some people, but going into a season, Steelers are probably considered to be the underdogs and probably projected to finish last by a lot of people. Whether it's they are going to be in last place by a game or whatever is kind of irrelevant. They're probably. I think the same can be said with a couple other divisions like the AFC West and the AFC East.
Oh yeah.
Like that gap between first and last isn't going to be as big as other divisions. So for this, I mean, I'm kind of a believer of like something is for sure a thing until it's not. So for me, Mike Tomlin is a winning coach. That's something that I would be looking to favor. Is he's going to keep being a winning coach. So that's definitely the first one that came out to me.
Zach, you convinced me. I'm sprinkling a little money on the Steelers now.
Now that you just gotta have that team. Just I mean, they still have a good defense, dude. Like
exactly. That's their defense. We'll bring everything in. I mean, I know who's their Kenny Pickett is their quarterback now.
Pickett. Yeah. I got Pickens, Deontay Johnson still there, still a weapon. Najee Harris.
Yeah, still solid running back.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him, and I don't hear the same hype like I have. Both lines are going to be good. They're usually really good. Steelers' offensive and defensive lines are going to be good. You have T.J. Watt in there. Probably arguably the greatest Watt brother of them all.
Yeah, definitely.
So that was the first thing that stuck out to me.
Okay, yeah. Another team that I like this year is the Jags, Jacksonville Jags. My boy, Coach Doug Peterson, Mr. Philly Special. Yep. I believe in him. Last year they made some noise. They surprised the Chargers in the playoffs. We won't talk about that too much, but yeah, I mean, I think they're gonna. Yeah, they're gonna build off this season. They have Calvin Ridley now. I think he's a huge weapon. He got suspended for putting in a couple bets himself and got caught up. So I really like the team just because of Calvin Ridley's status. But now that he's on the team, he's super talented. You still got Christian Kirk. Trevor Lawrence is starting to bloom into a solid quarterback. Their defense is still solid. I think 9.5 is respectable. I mean, and that division is just really bad in my opinion, and especially what they got the Titans, AFC Titans. I know they have D-Hop over there now, but I'm not sold on Ryan Tannehill with D-Hop making any noise. I know they have King Henry there still too, but I think Jaguars can get one of the two games they're going to play against Titans.
Hmm.
Who else is in that division?
Houston and
Houston.
Indy.
Okay, yeah, they're
They're
going to
probably
be.
going to sweep that division, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
That's
Um,
6 right there, right?
yeah, that's six right there.
Okay, so they
Um,
also got you got the Chiefs week 2, but they're at home.
okay, yeah, they can still play.
They got to go to London to play the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're in London again against the Bills
Oh wow,
because
okay.
they both have 6:30 start times. They also got the Saints, Steelers, Niners, Bengals, Browns, Ravens, Bucks, Panthers. I think, I think 10 is the minimum, to be honest
Yeah,
with you.
definitely. Like I think they
The
can
way it
really
sounds
hit.
like,
They can hit like a 10-7 or 11-6.
yeah,
As long as they win those division games, I think
yeah, for sure.
they can steal one of those games against like the Chiefs or Bills or Steelers. So yeah, I really like the Jaguars squad this year. I think that number is a it's not favorable, but I am enticed, and I will be sprinkling on the Jaguars too.
I think they also have, or a lot should be said about Trevor Lawrence having Doug Peterson for a second year.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
it's a big deal.
Oh, for sure.
He gets to really immerse himself in that offense now. Had a
Mhm.
whole year of seeing like what worked. Obviously, other
Mhm.
teams are going to see what worked too and be able to
Yeah,
combat that. But now they get to sprinkle in some other stuff.
yeah,
Getting a weapon like Calvin Ridley. Um, I mean, depending on how you look at that situation, right?
yeah,
Like, not you take the betting out of it. He still hasn't
Mhm.
played a game in 2 years,
yeah. Hmm.
right? So how
Exactly.
rusty is he going to be?
Yeah,
Like the endurance on him, like how,
but
is he going to be able to last the whole season?
yeah, I mean, those are valid questions, but
Mhm.
the way from my perspective, he wasn't injured. He was just not playing.
True.
So if he was about that life, then he should be working out still. So I'm betting on him that he's about that life. We shall see.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Yep, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think that's generally speaking like what a lot of people are betting on too as well. Like
Mhm.
they're saying, yeah, he hasn't played in 2 years, but he wasn't hurt.
Oh,
So like,
sorry.
oh, you're good. So
Sorry.
he doesn't have mileage on him. Like he got to save his body and preserve getting hit and all that work. So I think it's a pretty good bet to say that Calvin is probably going to be up for the challenge. And they have a pretty deep receiving core. Christian Kirk took the lead last year. DJ Chark was there. He's not there anymore.
Yeah.
I think they still have Zay Jones there.
They have Zay Jones there still. They have Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram's over there, so solid.
So even at the end of the day, like their receiving core and their pass catchers, they added Calvin. They didn't really.
Yeah.
They lost Chark, but they're replacing Chark with Ridley, which I think is a good bet.
Yeah.
To say that their offense got better.
And who's our running back? Is it Travis Etienne?
Yep.
Yeah, so
Etienne, and then they got
talented too.
a rookie. Is it Tank Bigsby? I think is there too.
Yeah.
And I know that Doug Peterson said they're going to get him more involved as they go to like what they see with him. So obviously you've watched that Doug Peterson offense a lot. You know what it's capable of when you got a good signal caller and some weapons. The running game isn't the same as it was at Philly, but I think the receivers might be a little better.
Yeah.
Overall, at least the pass catchers as a whole.
Yeah, definitely.
And the quarterback play, I think it's safe to say it was better too.
I mean, Nick Foles was solid, but Trevor Lawrence is more of a baller than Nick Foles.
Even Wentz though, Wentz in his prime, he had a little bit of a run there too.
Wentz was killing it. He was it was crazy. I really thought he was going to be good, and then just didn't come back from that ACL injury the same. So, but we got Jalen Hurts out of it, so it's all good.
Hey, a little silver lining there.
Yeah.
Let's see, what was the other team we had? We had the Giants we were talking about.
Yeah, New York Giants. I think their lines.
New York Football Giants.
There you go. I think go up.
Scroll back up a little bit.
Scroll back up. Perfect. Right there. They're at 7.5. I think the NFC East is a pretty weak division. I mean, you just got to worry about the Eagles, and I think they can steal one against the Cowboys. I don't think the Commanders are that good. So, I feel like Giants can do like an 8-9 season.
Speaking of the Commanders, shout out to them. They just snapped Baltimore's 24.
Yeah, 24-0 preseason win. Yeah.
Pretty crazy. I know, like no one cares about preseason. I think it's safe to say Baltimore cared about preseason a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So shout out to the Commanders.
Yeah.
I don't want to read too much into that and think that like, oh man, Commanders about to go on a run because it is preseason. But that might be one of those like kind of like locker room victories that they're like,
yeah,
hey,
no chemistry. Mm-hmm.
So,
I forgot there was a game going on. I was at the gym earlier and I was like, what the fuck? Commanders versus
Ravens. Yeah, for sure. I technically think the Giants season.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say, but like preseason, I think the Giants season starts this weekend against the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Based on the hype that both teams have right now, New York football hasn't been this hot in a while.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing at MetLife. Jets are on Hard Knocks.
Yes.
Giants are a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
I think Aaron's playing in the game.
He's gonna do like one drive.
He has to get some reps in, right?
Yeah, he has to.
So they go from there. Then they go Sunday Night Football. Cowboys to lead off. They're playing the NFC West this year. Weeks 2, 3, and 4 NFC West teams. I believe their Week 3 game is a Thursday Night Football game at the Niners. So they're going to be home primetime against the Cowboys, Sunday Night Football.
A quick turnaround against the Niners.
To Arizona, Week 2, and then to the Niners. So they'll probably stay on the West Coast, I would assume.
Yeah, they're not going
to get ready for that Niners game. And then they come back home for the Seahawks, which should be a good game. But there's a thing about, I think, there's a legit West Coast going east, that plays a big factor.
Yeah.
Home for the Giants, home for the Bills. So they got Cowboys Week 1. They don't play their next division game until October 22nd at home against the Commanders. And then they got the Jets in town. 7 wins could possibly be what they end up with. However, this is a playoff team. We need to put some respect on this team, I think. Dable did a hell of a job last year with this team.
I
Danny
agree.
Dimes, I think, is actually a threat. They got Darren Waller in the building this year.
Yeah.
Saquon bought in.
Yeah.
They got the Eagles. Here's what's fascinating about this. It's going to be interesting to see how many wins this team has going into week 16. Okay. Week 16, Christmas Day, they got a matchup at Philly, and then they're home for the Rams and then home for Philly to close the season out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they could be flirting there with that little, they could 7-8 wins around that time. And then we could see if they get it done. They could be sitting at 7 going into that first Eagles game.
Yeah, I mean, if they just win that Rams game, then they'll be sitting pretty at 8 and 9.
But I do think inside the Giants building, this is a little disrespectful. If I had to guess, like I said, playoff team did very well last year. A lot of things went well. Some would argue they stole a couple games. They had a game where they went for 2. Was that Buffalo?
Yeah, I think it was Buffalo
where they went for 2, got 2-point conversion, won it.
Mm-hmm.
And that one stood out last year, but that's the kind of package that Brian Dable's carrying, right?
Yeah, he's got some stones on him. He's got some stones on him. That's what you need as a football coach, man. So I think with Dable there, like I think 8 wins is not I think it's crazy to think about, right? Yeah,
I definitely think
definitely sprinkling on that too.
Okay, and that's a rival for you to say that, dude. That's big. We don't hear that.
But I mean, I just know they're not going to beat Eagles twice, so they can win 8 games and still lose to the Eagles twice, So it is what it is. So someone has to finish second in the division and be a wild card.
Cowboys, huh?
Oh, fuck the Cowboys! I do not think the Cowboys. I really do not think. I mean, they might sneak in as a wild card too. Like last year, I think. Cowboys and Giants were the 2 NFC wild cards, so that could possibly happen this year as well. But yeah, we'll see. We shall see.
I think that the Seahawks too were another one.
Yeah, that's right. There's 3 wild card teams now. That's right.
Let's move over to the Raiders. Speaking of division rivals,
the Raiders.
They have a low over under. Honestly.
Yeah, I know.
Like when you just genuinely think of like, hey, how many teams think the Raiders are going to win this year? I'm like, at least 7.
Yeah. I mean, 7 is not crazy to think about. I mean, they are in a tough division. I don't know if they're going to win those 2 games against the Chiefs.
Okay.
but I can see them winning at least one of the games against the Chargers. I can see who else is in their division. There's one more. Denver. Yeah, fuck Denver. I think they can. Yeah. Definitely. I really hate Denver now because Sean Payton said some disrespectful shit about Nate McDaniels or what the other coach
Josh
from
McDaniels.
No. Hackett.
Yeah, Nathaniel Hackett. Yeah, on Hard Knocks.
Yeah, he said some shit. He was talking shit, and I'm like, bro, like that's another man. Like I know Nathaniel Hackett was whack last year. We all know that. There's no reason to put another man down. So after hearing that,
definitely
I'm like,
underdelivered.
Yes, he underdelivered, but we all know that. Let the media do that. Sean Payton, fucking asshole for doing that. So I do think Raiders can steal one at home in Vegas against Denver as well. I don't think Russell Wilson's going to cook at all. So, and yes,
they have kind of a tough start to the schedule. They start off at Denver. I'm after been following, a couple teams pretty closely over the years.
Okay.
Some weird stuff happens in Denver.
Okay. Teams. Interesting.
I'm not saying there's anything crazy going on, but obviously the elevation is definitely a factor.
Yeah.
But weird stuff happens in Denver. Then they got to go to Buffalo right after.
Ooh, Jesus Christ!
First home game
is week 3.
Week 3 against the Steelers, which
we also have.
That travels extremely well, and they're going to love to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
Then they go to the Chargers, home for the Packers, home for the Patriots.
Damn, they might not win until week 4. Shit.
That's pretty tough, That's actually going to be week 6. Week 6 is Patriots. Oh no, week 5 is Packers. So week 6 is Patriots.
5. I see.
Bears, Lions, Giants, Jets, Dolphins, Chiefs, Vikings, Chargers, Chiefs, Colts, Broncos. So all that to be said.
Wow.
Tough, right?
They might barely win 7 games, but I don't think I like this line. But me personally, I don't think I want to sprinkle anything on the Raiders just because they're the Raiders. But
after reading that schedule,
reading that schedule, I might not do that anymore.
A couple things are going to be contingent on this. Jimmy Garoppolo's health, number one. Getting Josh Jacobs back in the building. So I'm going to put a little asterisk on this.
They're
not going to win 7 games without Josh Jacobs.
They need him.
They're also not going to win 7 games without a healthy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Defense should still be good enough to keep them in games for the most part. Crosby is a monster.
Yes.
I personally like Denzel Perriman with that linebacking crew. There's a lot of defensive pieces there that I'm familiar with their names, and a couple coaches over there too. They should still be able to find a way to win 7 games. With a healthy Josh Jacobs or with a present Josh Jacobs and a healthy Garoppolo, I could see them winning 7 games.
You're right.
You split a couple in the division. You take care of business against the Colts. That could put you at 3. You can beat one of the 2 New York teams. That's 4. Yeah, Bears are going to be tough this year with Fields.
Yeah.
Lions are going to be tough. That Lions game actually is kind of exciting me a little bit.
That should be fun. Are they playing in Vegas or in Detroit?
They're in Detroit.
I see.
It's a Monday Night Football game on my birthday, so I'm excited for that one.
Nice.
Who knows what you're going to see with Jordan Love? Maybe Crosby can disrupt Jordan Love with the Packers. That's 6. Steelers, like we were talking about. Who knows? They like to drop a couple weird games throughout the season. Patriots. Last time Patriots were in Vegas, some crazy shit happened. Vegas had that game. I think Patriots ended up winning that, right?
I think what Patriots try to try to pitch it back on some bullshit and
Mac Jones,
Mac Jones or something. Try to pitch it back. One of the receivers tried to pitch it back to Mac Jones, and then
picked in midair,
and then just took it to the house to end the game. I think they can get to 7, honestly. But again, 2 big factors. Obviously, so let's just put it out there. Health is obviously contingent on a lot of this stuff, right? When you're looking at these games and you're looking at even fantasy football. A lot of this goes if healthy. Yeah.
But Garoppolo, staying in the pocket, being able to stand tall, finish games. He makes good decisions. I think he's a better decision maker than Carr. Carr has a better arm in terms of like arm strength. Garoppolo makes a smart throw. He's going to be willing to check it down. A lot of opportunities for, I think, Zamir White too in the running game. They probably could have used Darren Waller on this team, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, Darren Waller is a really good pass catcher. He can run a little short routes. Yeah. He's big, target. They really could have used him, but they didn't want to pay. They didn't want to pay the man.
Yeah, hand off to Josh Jacobs.
Yeah,
and when you need to get that first down, I think Garoppolo can get it to you. Like, you'll probably be in a lot of third and short situations.
Yeah,
and Garoppolo will make the smart throw. So yeah, I'm like, you think of the Raiders, how many games are going to win? At least 7, right?
Yeah,
so that's just where I was coming from.
Yeah, very. I mean, valid points, but the health of Jimmy Garoppolo is a little too. It's a little too fragile for me to sprinkle that on there. So
that's a good word.
Yeah. So we'll see. I hope. I mean, for the culture, for the Vegas sports. I mean, you love to see when they succeed over there, because. I mean, as a kid, I never thought a professional sports team would be in Vegas. I thought it was illegal, but yeah. But now you got. I just need the NBA over there now. But you got football, you got NFL, you got NFL, you got NHL, WNBA, soon MLB, baseball with the A's. So yeah, it's good. It's good for the sports culture when a Vegas team is relevant. In my opinion,
1,000%. It's honestly, to me, that's the third biggest market now. If it isn't already, it's on its way to. You got New York, LA, and then Vegas. It's just the mecca right now. You got everything there. Plus, you get obviously all the year-round betting and stuff. Yeah, Vegas doing very well for themselves. All right, 2 other teams we wanted to spotlight. Of course, our teams. Let's start off with the Niners.
Got to touch on that. Niners. They got one of the Eagles' defensive players. I think Josh Sweat or. One of the guys from our defensive line signed with the Niners, and your line now is like crazy, like even better than last year.
Here's my problem with the Niners. Okay. And I don't know if this is just me being skeptical, fan,
Yeah, you don't want to be too confident.
They got 3 quarterbacks on this team.
Yeah, that's where is the direction? Like, I mean, Brock Purdy was great, but y'all drafted Trey Lance for a reason.
Exactly.
And then who's the third quarterback?
Sam Darnold.
Ooh, okay. Damn.
So, yeah. So, as a USC fan, love Sam Darnold, right?
Yeah.
Niner fan, loved Brock Purdy last year. Thought he came in, did the same thing, kind of like Garoppolo a little bit, making smart plays, smart throws. The potential with Lance, I honestly think is still untapped. I don't think we've seen the best of Trey Lance. That being said, when you have either Darnold or I think Darnold could be a good little mix of the two. He's a little mobile. He's probably got the stronger of the 3 arms, but he's probably going to be he should be the backup. But you got to decide, where do you want to go, right? Lance probably unlocks this team in terms of athleticism at the quarterback position, being able to, if he doesn't make the bad throw and holds on to it, could scramble, be elusive, and gain some yards, right? However, you know what you got with Brock Purdy, right? He's an NFC championship caliber quarterback. Okay, if he stays healthy in that game, who knows what happens, right?
This is true.
I'm not going to say they would have won. I'm not that type of fan. However, that game would have been extremely different.
It would have been a lot closer, definitely.
It would have actually been more reminiscent of a game. So the problem that I'm having is you have to pick what direction you want to go as a team, because you're going to have 2 completely different offenses with either Trey Lance or Brock Purdy / Sam Darnold, right? You call different plays when you have those 2 guys under center, and I think both are capable. I think all 3 of them are capable to lead this team. This team is set up in a way with Kyle Shanahan's offense that virtually anybody can be under center if they have a healthy arm, and they could make a throw. Pretty much they're going to be successful. You also have Christian back there. Elijah Mitchell still back there behind
Debo.
Rock. You got Debo, Ayuk, Kittle. Got the weapons there. Offensive line still pretty much there. I think it took a hit a little bit. I don't think it's going to be as good this year as it has been in years past. Which is going to be a factor for sure. Not too worried about the defense. I think that's pretty safe to say. Defense is going to be stout. Defense is going to be one of the top defenses in the league. which is incredible. Realizing that they're on the third offensive coordinator in 4 years.
Yeah.
That they're still a force to be reckoned with. That division got better though. Specifically the Seahawks.
Yeah, with the exception of the Cardinals. Oh, yeah, the Seahawks. I mean, Geno Smith had a lot of doubters last year, so he's coming in, feeling himself with more swag, more confidence, and you already know that's like half of the game is having swag. So
he was the most accurate quarterback among or among what's it called? Not active quarterbacks. Qualified quarterbacks who met the minimum pass attempts. Geno Smith was the most accurate quarterback. That being said, I think they will go 5-1 in the division. I'll say split with the Seahawks. I think they take care of business with the Rams, but they're not going to be as bad as they were last year. Cardinals, I mean,
Kyler Murray, is Kyler Murray out the whole year?
No, he'll be back. Okay. I think he'll be back in time to play the Niners a second time.
Okay.
The second time they play is December 17th.
I see.
I'm going through the schedule. Steelers week 1 on the road. Normally I would say that's a trap game. I have this thing about West Coast teams going to the East. They're not exactly East, but they're East enough for me. But it's week 1, so you get to plan for that.
Yeah.
Then they're at home. Not really. They're on the road, but they're at home against the Rams. That's a home game for the Niners. Then they host the Giants, host the Cardinals. Should be 4-0 to start the season. Cowboys at Browns, at Vikings, and then Bengals. So, maybe 6 wins going in there. Then they got to go to Jacksonville. That's going to be a tough game.
Yes.
But that's coming off of the Niners' bye. That's their first game after the bye.
Okay, so they'll be resting then.
He'll have the boys prepared for Jacksonville and Doug Peterson's trickery. That's going to be a good defensive offensive matchup. That should be a game that we probably spotlight. Just for everyone's knowledge, we're going to try and do a more extensive NFL preview sometime next week. I'm going to circle that game as of right now on my games to watch for the season.
Oh yeah.
End of the season, you got at Seahawks, at Seahawks, at Eagles, home for Seahawks. That's going to be a tough stretch. You sprinkle in Kyler Murray's probably return with the Cardinals and Baltimore, and then finish off with the Commanders and Rams. I think 11 wins is definitely doable, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as a lot of people think.
Yeah, I mean, that schedule, just hearing it, sounds like it's going to be a grind to get to 11 wins.
Yeah, they got to win early. They got to win the games that they have to win early.
Yeah, I typically not try to sprinkle on teams or put bets on teams that have a double digit or more. I just think anything could happen, like injuries. I feel like injuries could happen, and that might deter you getting 10, 11 wins versus someone like the Jags or the Steelers. An injury may deter them, but 9 wins, 10 wins, 7 wins for the Vegas Raiders are still somewhat doable with an injury. But to be 11 or 11-6 or 12-5, that's the thing that I try to stay away from. But I definitely think you bring up valid points, and I am confident that the Niners, contingent on them being healthy, obviously, they should be able to manage 11-12-5, 13-4.
I mean, this year, if they get to the third quarterback this year, they're in good hands still. I think so. They kind of put themselves. They're going to be one of the few teams this year that actually dress 3 quarterbacks, I think, the whole time. I know that they try to apply for that rule where you can allow to have an extra man if it's a quarterback, dress.
I see.
You can call it the Brock Purdy rule, whatever you want to call it. But I think that's a thing this year. If not, they're trying to get it implemented for next year.
Wow. Oh, is it because last year when they got jacked up by the Eagles, they were just using they were using
I think they had Josh Johnson out there. I think I don't know if you saw that, but if they would have won that championship game, Phillip Rivers would have been the starting quarterback in the Super Bowl.
Oh shit!
Yeah, supposedly. Yeah, that's what I saw come across ESPN. Kyle Shanahan wanted Rivers for the Super Bowl if they would have won.
Damn.
Garoppolo probably would have been healthy. I think healthy enough to play. That would have been something, huh?
That would have been crazy.
Oh man, talk about worlds colliding there for a
Yeah.
minute. All right, but let's get to your Eagles.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think their line is at 11, 10.5 as well, maybe 11.5. Where are they at? There you go. Yeah, 11.5. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I'm not sprinkling on that this year. I think, although I'm confident with their defense, their schedule is a lot harder this year compared to last year. I mean, last year they're at 9.5, and I looked at their schedule and I hammered it. So it was nice to get that, knowing like what by week 11 it was already a done deal.
Is that kind of how you feel with the Jaguars this year? You kind of feel a similar way?
Exactly. Yeah. I just like when I see like a low line and the talent that's on the team, that's like a big indicator that I think they're going to make that jump. Because I mean, Eagles last year we didn't know if they were going to be a Super Bowl team, but I had a really good feeling. And me being a fan, I'm not always confident in the Eagles because there's years where they're not good, and I kind of stay away from betting on them. But last year when they made the trade for AJ Brown, I felt that was like the hurdle, the jump over the hill to get them to where they needed, because Hurts just needed like another weapon that's super dependable and reliable. So, but speaking on their schedule, I mean, what do they got? Let me take a look what they got.
They got pay at New England first game.
Yeah, so I think they got that. I think they take care of the Vikings.
Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, I know that's a
two playoff teams going at it.
Yeah, but they're
and then they got to go to
Kirk Cousins is not. I don't know. Maybe this quarterback Netflix movie might give Kirk Cousins a little more swag, but to me, he always just shines away when it's primetime football. So
primetime, yeah, that's a good call. Actually, there is something to be said about Kirk Cousins in primetime. It's very weird.
Mm-hmm. Bucks. I mean, Buccaneers. They should take care of the Bucks. Commanders. I feel like they. Eagles playing in LA.
Are you gonna try and go to this game? Eagles,
yeah, I'm trying to go. I don't have tickets yet, but I'm definitely gonna make a really good effort to go. I'm probably gonna buy tickets last minute, like the week before. I just want to see where the price is at. I'm sure.
You've been to SoFi?
I've been to SoFi multiple times. Yeah, it's awesome. So I really want to go again, and yeah, I have this game circled because I have some buddies that are also Eagles fans, so we're gonna try to make a thing out of it.
I think first game of the season that's tough is the Jets game.
Yes, yeah, I think that's the one that playing in New York with all that glitz and glamour around Aaron Rodgers, and it's going to be crazy. I mean, even the following weekends, the Dolphins. I know they're playing in Philly, but
Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, it's prime time. I can't say for sure because I like the Dolphins' offense. They got better, and I think Tua is going to be healthy again. So we'll see, but. Yeah, I mean, they got Commanders again after the Dolphins, so that's like
first Cowboys game on the 5th.
Yeah, I think they're going to beat the Cowboys for sure.
A little stretch here. This is kind of tough. All right, stretch coming up here. Chiefs, Bills, Niners.
Yep, that's what I'm saying.
And then at Cowboys. Yeah. And then at Seattle. Oof. And then home for first Giants game. That's kind of worrisome.
Yeah, I mean, they might. That's why I'm saying that 11.5 is kind of too high because I feel like I'm confident they win the division still, but they might finish like 11-6.
Because they got so that's a Monday night game against the Chiefs at Kansas City. Then you got to go home. Kind of a short week. You got the Bills coming to town, and then
you got
Niners come to town, that's West Coast, East Coast. That thing, that's a real thing. And then you got Sunday Night Football in Dallas, and then home for this, and then you got to go to Seattle. Which is a tough place to play, for sure.
Yeah.
And then you got home Christmas Day
against the Giants.
Against the Giants.
I think they take care of that. But yeah, I mean, right off the bat,
that stretch run's going to be tough, dude.
Yeah. That Bills it's quite possible they drop like 2 of those 3 games. And
Chiefs, Bills, Niners.
Yeah.
See, but even still, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, right? They have a tough game against the Jets. They lose that game, and then they lose those 3 games. That's still only 4 losses.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, 13-4 is not bad, but that line is just.
That's great.
But that line is just like I said, it's way too high for me to sprinkle it on. Especially maybe towards the end of the season, they might have the division locked up already, depending how it's going, and they might rest Hurts. They could be sitting at 11 like by week 17, and maybe they throw that game against the Giants. So we'll see. That's why I don't like that 10.5, 11 because you just never know.
Because 11 wins could win the division. And
Yeah,
you don't
exactly.
have to win that 12.
Exactly.
And if they're winning a lot early, they can really take a look at the standings and be like, maybe we'll see the Niners in the playoffs. I don't know. Yeah, but then you also want to play for home field, though.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a lot of stuff, a lot of moving parts, depending on where it's going. But that's what I'm saying. There's too many moving parts for me to confidently bet on them to win 12 games or more. But I already know. Just societal no, I already bet on them to win the division. So I'm looking more for that one versus
that's
the
a pretty safe one, I would say. Like they should be the division favorites.
Yeah, I mean
they were how should I word this? They were a healthy playing field away from winning the Super Bowl.
Yes. I don't want to use that as an excuse, but God damn it, man.
Hey, I don't want to use having a quarterback that only had a left arm as an excuse either, but you play with what you're dealt, man.
Yeah, that's true. You can only play with the cards you're dealt. You're right.
That's right.
Yeah, but I really feel like your Niners and my Eagles is gonna be a rematch in the NFC Championship. I think both teams got better. The NFC overall didn't get that much better. I mean, to think about it, most of the talent in terms of quarterback play is mostly in the AFC.
Yeah. There's going to be a Hall of Fame or future Hall of Fame quarterback, probably two of them that missed the playoffs in the AFC.
Yeah, definitely. Versus the NFC, I really feel like Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in the NFC. If I go down the line,
that's fair to say.
Yeah, as of right now, right? I mean, maybe not legacy career-wise, but this season he's probably the best quarterback.
That's pretty fair to say.
Yeah,
I can't think of any off the top of my head, which just goes to show you.
Yeah.
I'm with you on the talent discrepancy between the two conferences. But that being said, I've been talking to friends, family, whoever wants to listen about this season. I feel like this season's about to be insane. You're very top heavy in the AFC with quarterback play. NFC is going to be a dogfight with a couple of these divisions, and then the last wild card spots. You do have the Niners and the Eagles atop this conference, but there's going to be some other teams that are going to be duking it out all season.
Yeah, the NFC South is wide open.
Yeah, Seahawks, Cowboys. Yeah, I know you don't like the Cowboys, but Seahawks, Cowboys, Giants, Saints with Derek Carr. See what happens there. Yeah, Falcons are going to run down everybody's throats this year. With
Bijan, right?
Yeah, Bijan. Yep, and they still got Algier. They were the number one rushing team, I think, in the NFC last year.
Yeah.
With yards per game, I believe, or attempts, something like that. They ran a lot last year. Carolina, though, what's Bryce Young going to do? That division's wide open for sure. Tampa, how are they going to respond? They still got
Mike Evans,
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield. They still got Mike Evans and.
Tis the season for best shape in your life conversations, right? They're saying Baker Mayfield's looking the best he's ever looked.
Okay.
Still got Godwin, Mike Evans there. NFC North is the widest.
Yeah, now that Aaron Rodgers is finally gone. But I mean, I think the Vikings still take that division, but you just never know with the Packers. The Lions are looking nice.
The Bears.
And the Bears with Justin Fields. Yeah, Justin Fields
DJ Moore's there now.
Yeah. He actually has weapons to throw to. So, yeah, the NFC is going to be to touch on that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because with AFC, we kind of know who's going to be in the mix.
For the most part, yeah.
More or less, right? But versus after Eagles, Niners, we really don't know who's going to be in the mix.
Who the next best team is. If you had to say who the next best team was, you'd probably have to take you a while.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I think we're gonna take a while and think about it, and come back on our next sports show here on the Cave and really dissect it.
I can't wait.
That NFL episode, shout out Naro. I think we were gonna really get into it. We might have one of the longest episodes we've ever had if we really get into it and break this all down. I personally want to be able to jump in with, division winners, picks,
Yes.
Super Bowl champs, and have it on record. We can follow it along all season.
We're gonna be doing it all season, bro. Like I think last year we kind of touched on stuff here and there, but
yeah,
I think now we got our groove going with sports, so we're gonna make some money. At least I'm trying to make some money. So with the knowledge of you and Naro and a little bit of my knowledge, I think we can give our listeners some good estimated guesses for some picks.
For sure.
Yeah.
And to be as unbiased as possible.
Yes.
Obviously, we have a lot of cavemen here that football is really, I feel like, our bread and butter in terms of what we break down, what we talk about. It's I think it's the easiest sport to follow. They play once a week, from like each team plays once a week, so it's a lot easier to follow. Exactly. Especially with fantasy going on, like we're all playing fantasy. Speaking of that, we got the Cave Fantasy League about to get up and going here pretty soon. So, we got this is the last week of preseason. Then the real thing happens.
Go time, baby.
College football this Saturday to get us, a little bit of foreplay, right, on the football season.
Is college football this season? Is it like preseason or is it just like non-conference play, but it goes towards your record still?
Oh no, there's no preseason. Every game counts in the college football year.
Okay.
The scrimmages and stuff they do is like in-house, like the red versus white scrimmages. You see stuff like that. But this is the first week of games that count. It's week 0. I'm actually going to the USC game on Saturday playing San Jose State. Should be a blowout. It's gonna be awesome. I could see Caleb Williams, up close. But like I said, it's just a little bit, tickling, a little bit of kissing over here on the neck, getting ready for the real thing. Do a little foreplay.
I mean, it's not bad to watch a game at the legendary Coliseum, man. So I hope you have a good time this weekend. Are you bringing your sons or your family?
Yeah. I'm gonna take the family game. So we'll be there up close. Get to watch the Heisman future note first overall pick. Next year's draft. So but that's gonna do it here for us. The quick 2-sport episode of Cave Sports. Touched a little bit on the NFL futures for wins and losses, and broke a little bit down the FIBA basketball tournament. Gets started this Friday early morning for all of us over here in the U.S. Just wanted to say again, check us out, k4v3.com. That's the website, k4v3.com/sports. That's 5P0RT5. Check us out, Instagram, Twitter, X, Threads, Discord. Going always hot in the Discord. Final thoughts, Francis.
Final thoughts. If there's a prop bet to do Niners Eagles in the NFC Championship, I would like to take that bet. I know, but and final thoughts. Anything can happen, and I'm just looking forward to the NFL season and looking to chat it up and grind some picks out with the boys in the cave. So until next time, Mr. Feel the Burn.
Yep, we'll see y'all next time. Be easy, y'all.
Peace.
Peace. Cave Sports.
I love Cave.